G'day guys, Sparkydave here. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons to show support for this channel. Please ensure you read and understand the following disclaimer before watching the video. Welcome to the second part of installing a recessed LED strip light. The product demonstrated is the NST10 from Brightgreen. This video includes fitting off the LED strip light and driver and a 4K resolution preview of how mint the setup looks at dusk. Enjoy. Nice, so that's in there perfectly. Before I go any further, I better put this garage door back in line. And I'll bend that metal tab back in line, make it nice and straight. Oh, there we go. Right, I'll jump up top and have a look at this cable. Alright, cool. Looks like there's a cable here already for it from the light switch. I can just disconnect this light and use the existing cable to connect up to the driver. Well, this cable here, I'm just going to take the pin clips off it and move it down to where the strip light cable has come through. It's a bit filthy up here, to be fair. I'll wipe that down with a rag. So this here is the LED driver for the strip light. Now all I've got to do is connect the cable into it from the switch and the load side cable that goes out to the light in the correct terminals here. Because the terminals are exposed, I'm going to have to install it into a box. So I'm going to go and find a wee box to place it in, and I may just move some of these pin clips here out of the road so I can mount the box up here, put this inside it. And the box is just like a junction box. It doesn't have to be waterproof or anything. It's just to prevent people from accidentally touching the live terminals or tools getting dropped in them. So the LED strip light is going to be on the top switch here. This was the one that was disconnected off the other light. So I'm just repurposing it for this video. In the future I'm going to change things around a bit. And as I say, I will be installing a sensor somewhere out here to show installation video of a 180-degree sensor, and we'll have the strip light on that sensor. Now I managed to find a box. It is a bit overkill because this is a heavy duty conduit box, but this will do for throwing the driver in there, drill a couple of holes just to get the cables through. I might make it look tidy by throwing some glands on it. The holes you probably want to drill are 10mm holes. For the glands I'm going to chuck some 16mm NG16s or 16mm nylon glands into the sides here, so I'll just drill some 16mm holes in the box. This drill's playing up a wee bit. Sometimes the trigger doesn't push all the way down. They're nice and straight, so I'll get some glands in there. I'll take this lid off first. Just remember, I'm only installing these glands on here for aesthetic purposes in the video. They're not necessary, and especially the size of hole that I've cut. Don't cut 16mm holes if you're not going to use glands. This is just to give the cable a bit of strength, so if it does get snagged on something in the future, it's not likely to pull out from the driver itself. Bit of an issue, well, not really the biggest issue, but see, the driver doesn't quite fit into the box, so what I have to do is be very careful and grind a wee bit off the end here so I can actually slide it into the box. Just got to make sure that I'm well clear of the PCB board inside here so I don't hit it and damage it in any way. The best I got was on an angle, so this is how it's going to have to be mounted into the box. And I'll actually mount it when it's up there, because I may find it difficult to get the 24 volt cables in this end. Get this cable right out of the road. Now with any cables in the vicinity of something that moves, you want to make sure that they're secured out of the way and that they never have the opportunity to get anywhere near the moving mechanisms. Right, I'll get these cables through now. So the extra low voltage one, I'll put through this end and do that gland up. Now this gland probably won't do up on this cable because it's so small. That's as tight as it goes. And it's pretty solid in there now. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn good. Now the TPS cable through the other one. Well, that's good without crushing the cable into a circle. That's nice and tight. What I'll go and do is whack a wee clip right here on the cable. That's why I've left this wee bit of excess here. Now I'm not going to trim this cable back. This extra low voltage one can go straight into the driver. So red into red, black into black. Cool. That's those two ends in. Now I'll trim this cable down. I'll give it palm and a thumb length outside of the box. I'll plug the phase and neutral into it. Neutral in there. Phase in that one. Perfect. So I'll go and get a connector and chuck it on there. What I really want to do is get these cables away from the unit. If it gets hot, then it's not going to damage the cables at all. Chuck a couple of these cable mounts in. The reason I chuck these in, just to mitigate any heat damage. Although these drivers don't put out much, it'll just prolong the life of the cable. These clips over time will fall off, especially if it does heat up in this case, but she'll be right. I did put a screw in beside it here just to fix it right in place, and I was very careful to leave the screw loose enough so there is a tiny bit of movement, so it's not impeding on the outer casing of the driver itself. So there's no real pressure on it, it's just physically holding it in place. Before placing the box cover on, you'll need to consider the environment that you're installing the box in and whether or not it requires some ventilation. For the location I'm installing this, it does not require ventilation. It's actually in an open space, and in the middle of summer here, the ambient temperature is unlikely to exceed 30 degrees. However, in warmer climates, you're definitely going to want to add some holes to these boxes just to get the hot air out. Make sure that you move the cables right out of the way if you're going to be drilling extra holes once the driver and cables have already been installed. Now when you're drilling these holes, just remember it does affect the IP rating of these boxes, so dust and water can also get in. When drilling holes, you want to balance it, so you put 3 on this side and 3 on this side. Use a small drill bit, 8mm max, because otherwise you're going to get some debris and other things entering. With smaller holes, you can only get small insects or dust coming into it. If you're going to put a bigger hole in, just remember the whole purpose of these boxes is to stop people from accessing the live terminals on the driver itself. Chuck this lid on. So I'll just fill this end with a wee bit of white silicone. That'll do, it looks tidy enough. Rub those pencil marks out tomorrow, and there we go, ready to fire up. I'm really happy with the final result of this strip light. It illuminates the driveway really impressively and the light looks really sharp. The softness makes it easy to look at and appreciate. I highly recommend a strip light setup above the garage door. It looks absolutely amazing. You can't actually tell where that light source is coming from, but of course it is recessed directly under here. I hope you enjoyed the video and cheers for watching right to the end.